What's happening today is We'll Meet Again 2025. This is our annual wartime weekend where everything comes to life at the museum basically. It's like travelling back in time to the 1940s when this was RAF Elvington, a working RAF bomber command base. But this year, being 2025, there's an added twist because it is the 80th anniversary of VE Day, Victory in Europe Day. So we have a street party, we have extra elements to reflect that VE Day commemoration. The number of people coming through the gates is fantastic. The smiles on their faces is even more fantastic. The site is buzzing, it's full of people, it's crowded. It's exactly what we hoped for.
A lot of people sacrifice their lives for people's freedom, and it should never be forgotten. Letting them know what people have gone through to have a country like we've got.
Such a huge change in Europe, and so many young people. You see people 18, 19, 20, 21, they gave so much.
My favourite thing about days like this is just the ability to go around and see just some of the equipment and experience some of the things and the lives of all the people who served and were around in 1940 for one of the greatest historical moments. You get to see all this equipment and ride around in jeeps and climb inside planes and see just behind the scenes of stuff you wouldn't normally see. Hello, my name's Carl Mason. I'm here at Yorkshire Air Museum for VE Day. We've been having a lovely day, absolutely huggings of visitors coming along to talk about all the sights, the sounds, the equipment of World War II. So what we have here is Corporal Alf Ackroyd's battle jacket. He was on D-Day and assaulted the beach as a Sword Beach Queen Red. He was charging up the beach with a fella called Jackie Marsden. When he said, in front of him, all of a sudden, little puffs of sand started to happen, and he realised there were bullets, and he watched as they snaked towards him, and they hit him and Jackie next to him. Now, Jackie sadly fell down and didn't get back up. Alf fell to the ground and looked at himself, did a quick sense check, and he looked specifically at this pocket, and he saw a fizzing coming out of him. So he quickly opened it up, pulled out a phosphorus grenade, launched it down the beach. Alf got up, dusted himself off, charged up the beach, and these Yorks captured all their primary objectives. Now, a little later on, when he was working out who unfortunately hadn't made it and who hadn't survived, he sat down, cup of tea, and he rooted around in his pocket, and he found in his pocket a 9mm MP40 round. The round that had his name on it. It had clipped the very top of the grenade and stayed in his pocket, and we still have it to this day. This bullet, over 80 years ago, was fired in hate, and we still have it to this day to hopefully learn all the lessons that we learned from Alf and his survival of the war. Now what we have here is Alf's BD jacket. He'd had this in World War II, and it spent a long time just sat on an immersion heater. He treated it in ways we would think is quite shockingly, considering this is an heirloom. He would just throw it in the corner. But he always kept this with him. Now he was a bit anti-authority, shall we say, and he was a corporal, a lance corporal, a sergeant, a corporal, a lance corporal. He went round and round, but he always stood by his men, and he did survive the war. And we've got all these stories of his to just keep telling now that he has sadly passed away.
Everywhere, you mean go look at them. See, because you aren't meant to hold it like that.
Going to finish mine first before I have there you go.
What you can see behind me is Friday the 13th, which is our Halifax Mark III heavy bomber. It's the only one of its kind in Europe. The only other one I know of in existence sits in a museum in Canada. Now the Halifax was the type of bomber that flew from here, from RAF Elvington, during the Second World War. First with 77 Squadron, and then they moved down the road to Full Sutton, and in came two squadrons entirely made up of French personnel serving within the RAF. So she's very special to us. She's painted up as Friday the 13th, which was a real aircraft. They'd taken the wings off, moved her in, and put the wings back on, and they marked her up so people knew what they were looking at. So that's why we've stenciled Hamley Page Halifax on. So this and the red spinners as well was done for that reason, because they replicate medal ribbons with the DFC, like she was given a medal. And Friday the 13th became known as the plane they couldn't kill. It started off being jinxed because every aircraft in that unit with that call sign F for Freddy so far had been lost within 2 or 3 missions. And when she came along, she was the 8th one. And rather than going down after 2 or 3 missions, she kept going and went on 128 operations over occupied Europe and Germany. Normally, she lives inside the hangar that you can see behind me as well, kept under wraps, or at least protected from the Yorkshire weather. And just for 1 weekend a year, we bring her out so that people can see her out in the sunshine like today. And it really, really is special for us here at the museum to see her in these conditions. So you can actually see how big she is and how special she is. And it really does take the breath away to see her outside.
We've got demolition of TNT and charge blocks, dynamite. We have bangalores and multiple weapons that they would have used anyway. My name is Craig Linford and I'm displaying 101st Airborne Filthy 13 at the Yorkshire Air Museum. Jake McNeice that I portray, nobody really knows about him anyway. And there were pathfinders. A lot of the things they did was like suicide missions and it didn't really get talked about. He shaved his head with a knife in case you got lice and fleas because you're not going to get a bath every day. They were called the Filthy 13 because they never washed, and they got the face paint from the Dakota plane when they were painting it.
What we've got here today is just part of our display. It's an armourer's bench, so we're here cleaning and maintaining weapons. We've obviously got the Enfield, and we've got a Bren gun here which we can easily dismantle just to have a look at the inside. As simple as that. It can be taken apart and cleaned down, and then it's ready for action again within a few moments.
To illustrate my last remark, don't are in the way, nor in the art. What did they do?
People think it's very dry in the history and it's just about machines and just about pieces of metal, and it absolutely isn't. And I think it's a bit like time travel coming here anyway, because this was a real base. But on a weekend like this, you are stepping back to a certain degree to the 1940s.
Coming to museums like this, particularly the Yorkshire Air Museum, it's just fantastic. There's just so much to see and so much to do. You could take part as much or as little as you want, but my advice would be, how often do you get to hold equipment like this? How often do you get to see these things and all these experiences?
Tomorrow, just you